Hello folks, join me as we unwind and learn to paint with the High Grade Leo. Thank you for joining me in this second part of our little project here. In this episode, I'll be trying to learn some hand painting as well as some scribing and a little bit of detail work as well. I've done some test scribes off video before I did this, so I'm somewhat confident with what I'm doing. Going into this project, my goal was to treat it as an introduction course for me. So I tried to keep it simple. Simple lines, simple scribes. What you see me using here are Dymo tapes I got from Amazon for cheap. I may end up just buying the transparent ones most people use because you can't actually see your work well with these black ones. I tried to add a larger panel line here, which I ended up not liking at all, so I had to putty it over. With scribing done, we move on to the cleanup of nub marks and any imperfections in preparation for the paint job. Depending on the area that needs to be cleared up, you will see me switch in between my hobby knife, an 800 grit file, and my foam nail filer. The foam filer is very good for these curved parts and I highly recommend it. Finishing up, I use extra thin cement for the gun magazine and sand it down 24 hours later. My planned theme for the paint will be desert warfare, so I will be painting our Leo with desert tank colors. Let's check the tools first. Paper towels, some clean water for brush cleanup, a plastic item to check my paint flow, styrofoam package from the grocery store, and of course, my brushes. Alright, let's start painting. Let's start by shaking our paint and stirring it some more for good measure. I add some drops of paint to my makeshift palette and try to guesstimate the most paint I can finish without it drying up too much. I actually get better at it as I got into it. I do the same for the water thinning and use this piece of plastic that I found to check my paint flow. I do this because I don't want the paint to be too runny or thick. Runny means it will make pools of paint on the part, and thick means it will make my brush marks more evident. It should rest on top of the plastic smoothly. You might also be wondering, but I won't be using a primer for this project. I already tested with a lacquer primer before starting this, but I would like to see the difference. I want to find out how good these Citadel paints will hold on to the parts. Now, to all you veteran hand painters out there, your input is much appreciated. Key takeaway for this is that the first layer will always be imperfect and streaked. That's fine because I will be adding 2 more thin layers for each part. I try to make it a habit to clean my brush every 3 to 5 minutes or so to keep my brush fresh. I move on to the second and third layers with a much softer bristle. If you remember this part, there's supposed to be a panel line here. Looks like I didn't scribe deep enough, and between the filing and painting, all of them just got covered, and I just completely forget about them. All that work wasted. After the third layer had dried, I pieced everything back together to do a quality check. I feel very happy so far. I disassemble everything again and separate each pieces according to the work that still needs to be done. Starting with the retouch parts, I sand down some bubbles, which thank God was just a couple of parts. The rest just needed some paint on some overlooked areas. Also, you may notice that I now have an added accessory to my left ring finger. I really need to pay attention to that knife. Next, we move on to the metallic parts. And the rest of the parts. And lastly, some weathering. And after all that, this kit is pretty much done. I've learned a lot from this build, especially from all the mistakes I made. There are definitely a lot of things I would like to work more than the others. Techniques I'd like to learn and improve as well. That's why any suggestions, criticisms, advice is valuable to me, so feel free to comment. The next episode will be my review of the kit, and the last part will be for the small diorama I've cooked up for this guy. The learning part is part of the fun, and I had a lot of fun on this project. I hope you did too. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next videos. Cheers!